Hey everybody, it's Lisa Lampanelli and welcome to the brand new episode of Losers with a Dream. Yeah, this week we're going to be talking about the idea of surrender. No, we don't mean giving up, but we also don't mean just plain old acceptance, which we've already covered. Surrender, but don't give yourself away. As the Cheap Trick said in the 80s, the best decade ever at which I am stuck. So, sit back. Enjoy or don't enjoy our podcast, Losers with a Dream. Surrender, Dorothy! Ow. Hey, you all know what time it is. It's Lisa Lampanelli, and it's time for the Losers with a Dream featuring me and, yeah, two other guys, Nick and Bo. I mean, nobody cares. I mean, I'm the star. Are you kidding me? They do nothing without me. Losers with a Dream. You're listening, so who's the actual loser? Now sit back and enjoy Losers with the Dream. Or don't enjoy it. Or don't even sit down. Shut up, burn calories.
Hello, welcome to the Losers with a Dream podcast. We are losers, and we look good in red, baby.
Shut up! There is no reason. Wait.
Come back to the exposed brick with the two artists over here. We know how to write.
Listen, I want to say something to both of you. You have big heads. And I don't just mean Bo's enormous noggin.
No,
you guys are so funny because you sat down today and all you've been talking about is how great you look in front of brick and with red shirts. You look fine. I'm not putting you down, but know your place in the world.
It's first place in the hot contest.
Oh, God.
We don't get a lot of good self-esteem boosts around here, okay?
Yeah, I like how you're holding in your gun so well.
Oh, you got a gun.
He does.
Fix your sleeve.
I've been eating my pancakes that are keto.
Yeah,
and
he
I'm
has
gonna be
been
okay.
doing
Kodiak
protein
cakes.
pancakes. I'm very proud
Don't
of you.
plug them.
Yeah, they're not a sponsor.
They are.
Idiot.
They've been giving me money, so
Well,
fuck you guys.
To get Bo not to die early. But those are good, man, because they taste like pancakes, but they're actually protein. So I'm
true.
very proud of you.
And I only use about a quart of butter for each one.
I know, that is the cock block of happiness. Yeah. So promote the show. What do we got going on, Nick? What do you need to plug, baby?
First and foremost, please give us a follow on the iTunes podcast little app there. Give us a 5-star review. You could follow us on Spotify. You could follow us on YouTube at our YouTube channel. You could follow us on TikTok at Losers with a Dream.
Wait, what?
And you could follow us individually. You can follow me on Instagram at Nick Scopes. You could follow him on Instagram at Bo McDowell Comedy. And you could follow her at Head Clam in Charge.
I wish.
Lisa,
At
look, the hand. Lisa Lampanelli.
You know what I wish? You know, it's so funny because we have a listener who is such a fan that created, I think it's an Instagram account called I Am Clammy Jones.
Miss Clammy Jones.
Miss
At
Clammy Jones. And
gonna
I'm
get a
very
shout out.
impressed. And this is where we will say, because of our Patreon, which, by the way, is so much fun and like we're having a blast. We're actually connecting with our weird effing listeners. And we thank you for that.
Yes, we appreciate it.
Feel free to join anytime, many levels, many things. And we have 5 people
right
who
now.
have actually signed on as quote unquote producers, which means we have to give them a little shout out. So Nick, shout out our freaking weirdo producers.
Patreon shout-outs, first and foremost, is Samantha Canali. What's up, girl? Thanks for subscribing. You're the best.
Call
then the creator of the Miss Clammy Jones Instagram, another fan, Darren Holmquist. I hope I got that right.
Okay,
Darren
now
Holmquist.
I really resent always when people go, that guy is so gay. Like there are different degrees of gay.
But with this one.
But this guy is so gay. And I love him and I need him. I can't live without him. Love you, Darren.
He's great. And now we have Doris Holcomb. Holcomb?
Yeah,
Holcomb.
Doris.
I just want to make sure I said that correct. Doris, what's up? You're
What's
the
up,
best.
girl?
We appreciate you, your love, your spirit, and everything else.
Thanks, babe.
And I love that she has an old-fashioned name because I like that those names are coming back now. Like
Helen.
I mean, Bertha will never make a comeback. No. But Rose and Lily and Doris. Thank you, Doris, you old whore, you.
We should
Doris
call
won a
Bo.
game of backgammon.
Yes.
We should call Bo Bertha. What do you
yeah.
think?
In drag, when we do our drag episode, Bo can
Can I
absolutely
be honest?
Bertha.
I would
Go
love
ahead,
to
say
do
what
a
you gotta
drag
say.
episode.
I know you would, but you
Yeah.
wouldn't have to shave your beard, would you? because that's your whole personality.
That's all you have, buddy.
No, I have a nice little dimple chin under
Oh,
here.
so you got a little
And a
clitoris
scar.
on your chin?
and a scar. So like I'm kind of a bad boy, but with
Yeah.
like the George Clooney dimple. Anyways,
Okay,
Beard.
so who else?
Mikey Evans.
Oh my God, Mikey!
Dude.
We love you. Can I tell you,
Mikey.
Mikey is actually responsible for like our very funny Friday videos on
Yo,
Instagram.
Yeah, he nails it, man.
There's something about a 22, 23-year-old twink. And I say that in
he's only
his
22?
words. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
He
He's twinked
knows
up.
how to pull out anything in that video of sexual content. Because I hate sexual talk on
My
this thing.
type
He
of
finds
guy.
it.
Yep.
This guy
Yes.
gets me.
So, Mikey, we love you. Thank you for all the help.
And last but not least, Connor Fennel.
Oh, fuck
Connor.
that guy.
Listen.
No, who is
No.
that?
I like Connor. He's a good dude.
He is a
Thank
good
you
guy.
for subscribing, buddy, and keep coming to shows. Appreciate
Yes.
it, bud.
You're the love of my life.
And by the way, so if you do want to subscribe to our Patreon, we have 5 different tiers. Just go to our Instagram pages, and the link is right there. Patreon, so cool. Only takes 800%.
Whoa.
Yes, it's fantastic.
It's like the U.S. government.
Yeah. Oh God, shut up.
No, I don't even know.
No one will ever accuse you of being smart. Now, what are
They
we
don't take
starting
that
with
much.
today, Nick?
We are starting with our classic. I mean,
World renowned.
world-renowned
Who was
segment.
prize winning?
People keep trying to steal it. Rogan texted me the other day. He goes, "Hey, I want to do a mental health check." And I said, "Get your own show."
Get your own,
What a
you
clam.
little bitch. You don't have any listeners.
Yeah, Spotify offered us 30 mil. We said, not enough. Not for this segment. We are doing the mental health check-in because it is important now we do not do a boring scale of 1 to 10.
No.
Okay? We're artists. We're in front of exposed brick. We're
Oy
wearing
vey.
red. We are just like
Just like, yeah.
bows in the frat boy hat, which as we know just gets me all,
woo.
Eh,
put a
gets him
fire in this
excited.
fireplace and it's right in my crotch. Am I right?
I'm going to open your loo.
Okay, you know what?
Oh, it's the flu.
Go to the mental health thing, because clearly you both lost it
Our
completely.
mental health apparently is just very gay today. We like the way we look, apparently.
Yeah.
I love
who's
that,
going
by the
first?
way. By the way, I love that all of our Patreon producer types are all either gay men or women.
That's how
I'm
it goes.
very impressed. Oh no, is Connor?
No, he's just straighty.
Connor's
Well,
a straight-
supposedly.
He likes a little gayish.
Oh gosh. Ew.
I mean, we've made out, Connor and I, but I
That's
forced
true.
him.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
messed up.
It was a
You
rape.
were raping him.
I was forced him.
Rape is not funny unless I'm talking
But he paid
about
me
it.
he paid me $50 to do it. But so
I think you go first, Nick, because you seem to be lively today.
He does. He has a lively
I am, man. You know, I'm feeling good. So my mental health check-in. Okay, I am feeling like Hugh Jackman.
Oh God.
Let me explain.
Please do.
Okay,
All right.
Hugh Jackman, the man is a triple threat. He does it all.
He
It's
is?
true.
He could go from playing a jacked Wolverine to being on Broadway like, I'm the Tin Man, and like if
No,
Sergeant
he's the
Pepper's
music
fucking.
man. He's in the
What?
music man. And
I
by the
don't
way-
know these
by the way, I
goddamn
just
things.
want to say you're less Hugh Jackman and more huge jack off. That's you, fucker.
You
So
set
yes,
her up, pal.
But
Okay,
anyway,
go
I'm
ahead.
saying that because, as we know, I'm a stand-up comedian. I'm a phenomenal dancer,
Really?
mediocre kisser.
Right.
But no, I recently signed up, and I start this Friday for improv classes.
Oh my God, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
I am too. I'm
Lauren
very-
Michaels texted me. He's like, "We're ready for you, buddy,"
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
said, "Yeah, I'm on my way."
The other Lauren Michaels, right?
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
the one in
yeah,
the basement
yeah.
in Queens who wants to cornhole you.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah,
Pete
gotcha.
Davidson was like, "You want to double team Kim K with me?" I was like, "Sure."
Yeah.
Wow,
So
there's
like,
a
that's just
fantasy
the
life.
life. That's where I'm at. But no, but no, I am excited for improv, and I'm just gonna be. It's gonna be crazy. Then who knows from there? Acting classes, dancing classes, ball. Who knows?
I can't
Tap
wait.
5, 6, 7. I just
7,
leave stand up, and I'm on Broadway.
I can't wait to see
I would
Nick
love
in
that.
all black at like an improv show, be like, "Give me a letter. Give me a letter. Give me a president."
No, I do have a question. Lisa, you
Yes.
can answer this
Okay.
for me because I
Yes.
was going to email them. This is how I am.
No, yeah, ask me first.
What do you wear to those things?
Wear like clothes that doesn't have a loser shirt. You can wear
No,
anything
right.
else. Whatever you wore in the car today, like you're fine.
Sweatpants?
Just wear sweats. Yeah, it's not like you're not doing an audition for anything. You wear like workout clothes because you're going to literally have to do some jumping around and some physical warm-ups.
And that's why I didn't sign up.
Right. God forbid you jump around. No one needs that.
Not a big
There
jumper.
was a weight limit.
So absolutely just wear what you would wear. I wouldn't say to the gym. What normal people
not
wear
these
to the
pants.
No, those pants are fine.
Okay.
Yeah. I think what's great is the reason, tell them how you got inspired because of me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
take
so
improv.
Tell a story.
start the fire. How do we do this? No, so I was talking to Lisa just about comedy and stuff like that. And I actually was I was on a maybe it'll be on this podcast or a podcast that comes out in the past, whatever. I said basically that I wish I could be as open and free flowing as I am here on stage.
Right.
Yeah.
And I catch myself just getting glued to material and not really reacting to what's going on or not even just having fun with the crowd.
Yeah.
And Lisa was like, "You're good off the cuff. Like, I don't know why you don't do this shit on stage or just loosen up more or anything."
And
like
then
that.
I said to it, I don't care why, because we don't even have to know why.
"Yeah, you don't have to know why.
Yeah.
You just
All
got to
we have
figure
to
it
do
out."
is go, hey, what's a tool to get me more out of my own thoughts when I'm on stage doing stand-up? I said, take an improv class or an acting class. And then we found that really good one at the Barrow Group. And I was like, oh, that's going to be
And
good.
you said they were good, so I trust you.
You
because
should trust
know.
me. Here's Nick,
You know
though.
stuff.
Here's how dumb Nick is, and I love him, but he is such a freaking Guido. He goes like this, I got a buddy who's an actor. Maybe you could just be hired to act. And I go, you're a fucking idiot. I go, first of all, your friend is an actor, not an acting teacher.
Yeah.
It's two different things. Second of all, your friend's not going to take time out of his day of failing auditions to teach you a goddamn thing unless you're
Right.
trading off training sessions and not fucking doing it for free. So I yelled at you, and I love that the next day you were signed up. That's why I like you guys, because I yell at you and you do it.
That's
Yes.
true.
You don't sit there and just complain. I can't stand complainers who do not move forward. And
Yeah.
again, it's your journey if you're stuck or whatever. But I was very proud of you.
No,
that
what I mean, like
do.
really,
Yeah.
truly, what do I started reading? I'm not going to go on a tangent, but I started reading this book about like worrying and shit like that. Truly, what do I have to lose? What's the worst thing that can happen?
you wear
Nothing.
you wear the wrong sweatpants.
I don't lose
and they laugh at
money.
you.
I don't die.
Yeah.
Nothing bad happens.
I'd
It's
say-
just so dumb for me to be like,
Well, here's the worst that's going to happen. You probably are going to look foolish some of the time, but that's stand up too. That's podcasting too.
Yeah.
That's life too. And then you learn from it. So I think choosing to fail at this is probably a good idea. Just going, hey, I'm going to put it out there. If I suck at it, that doesn't even matter.
Right.
But you're going to get, you've been looser on stage since you signed up for the class and you haven't even been in the class
yeah, I
yet.
tried some extra dance moves last night on stage. They did really well.
Yeah, I heard the crowd throwing up.
All right, well, I'm proud of you, huge jack off.
Yeah. So I'm Hugh Jackman.
It's okay.
Speaking of huge, Bo, you're next. Dude.
Yes. Okay, so this week
You're,
I
you're
feel.
slouching, babe. You're slouching.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, sit up, put your tits out, cunt in.
ready? Here we
Yes.
go. It's out.
Oh,
It's
way
out.
better.
Whoa.
A world of difference.
Who's this guy? Okay.
Freeze frame this ball.
Throw up.
Making my Bumble
Bumble.
profile. Lisa's having a bad time already.
you're not allowed to date. Yeah, you guys, if you want to be dedicated to comedy, you can't date no more.
Yeah.
She's gonna
You
lock
think
us.
I dated? Do you think I
You did.
Yes, I did. I got married
You were
twice.
married twice.
You know what? But I'm supremely talented and gifted. You guys have to
Right.
work hard. Okay, go ahead, Belle.
It's always good that you remind us of that. Okay.
Yeah, we never forget that.
So this week I feel like Chris Farley in Tommyboy. And the reason being, there's a great scene in this movie where he's
lot of
sitting.
great scenes
There's a
in that
lot of
movie.
every scene is
It's
great for the most part.
flawless,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so there's a scene where he's sitting and he's pitching the waitress to get him wings,
Right.
right? And he's doing the whole thing, right? And then afterwards, David Spade's like, "How'd you do that? Like, you had something there?" And he's like, "Oh, I got the meat lovers pizza in the car." You know, it's like, even if I don't win, I still got that. It's all good. I'm just playing around. And I felt a lot like him this week because I was thinking, I've recently started doing my job. which I had not. Yeah, which is a noble idea.
And Bo does keep a Meat Lover's pizza in his car for
And by his
emergencies.
car, he means his ass.
Yeah, so
Pull it out.
I felt like him this week because I was thinking like, man, I love comedy and comedy is the wings, right? But I've been kind of living off of like, oh, I'm really trying to sell it and really like putting myself in like a little bit of discomfort because I'm like, I need it.
You're getting a drumstick
Now that-
here and there,
right.
a wing,
Right,
some
but-
celery sometimes.
But now that I'm like working hard and like doing my job, I feel so much like safer and comfortable and more like, financially
I feel the same
like
way, bro.
in the right spot. So it's like now comedy has felt a lot more fun. It's a lot more play.
Wow.
So I was like, man, that's really where I want to be. It's like I don't want to be where I'm not. And that's kind of where I've been like the last few months.
Well, you know what I love about this? There's this saying I read over the pandemic that said, no one could be at their best when they're in survival mode.
Right.
So you were in survival mode trying to cobble together enough money for rent and this and that.
Yeah.
And now you're not in survival mode. So you're able to be freer on stage, do the gigs that come up, not always count on it for all your money.
Yeah.
So that sort of desperation isn't there. You've got
Right.
food on the table, got a Meat Lover's pizza up your left nut. Everybody's happy. So I totally get that.
Yeah, and I had a weekend of shows this past weekend, and I mean, it was just all of them were fun.
Yeah.
Like I got on stage going, I don't know what I'll open with, I don't know what I'll close with, but I'm just gonna have fun.
You had a lot of you were last night especially. I remember seeing you. I was like some of the funniest shit you did wasn't even your material.
Yeah,
Just
that
you
was
haven't-
Was it somebody else's material?
Yes.
Because he's really good at being
He was doing from the
sometimes.
Seinfeld's 5 Minutes from the Tonight Show in 1985.
Very good. That's a good thing. But I
What's
love
the
this
deal with
'cause-
onion rings?
Oh, I just love that to not be so, because that like what's that Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
Yeah. Yeah, you're at-
food, clothing, and shelter.
Shelter,
You can't get down to creativity unless all those other things are done.
Right, the self-actualization. And all
Yeah.
that. I think that I need to understand that I'm covered, and then when I'm out there, I'm just there to have fun. Like I'm really just and it proved itself within a week.
So don't
that's the way
forget
to
it
go.
because here's what you do. You know this works. No, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, today I was reconciling my Amex bills because I like to be so hands-on.
Yeah.
And I love checking off my expensives. Oh my God. My business
What a
manager's
fucking nerd,
My
dude.
business manager's
You
like,
are
he
incredible.
goes, we do that. And I go, yeah, but I like to look at it.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it and I see the shrink, the charges to the shrink.
Yeah.
And I go, maybe I don't need this anymore. I'm like, wait a minute. That is literally why I don't quote unquote need it anymore because I'm going. It's like
Yeah.
the one who goes off their meds when they're actually
Right.
feeling lucid. So what's good is don't forget that this is how it feels to be in the right place.
Yeah.
And then, so don't start oversleeping and not going to work or not trying at work because we all kind of have that temptation to go backwards and go, oh, I forgot I felt good that way.
Yeah, and I mean, I really think I'm in a good like mode, and this whole month is just focused on getting on that path for this year.
Well, continue it and don't fuck it up. As your friend, I would resent it greatly. Would you like to know my mental health?
Yes.
I don't have any. I'm mentally ill. No, I thought
Cancel
of
the
this.
shrink.
I thought of this in the car
The
because what
Amex.
people might not know is we tape now in New York City. We live in Connecticut.
Yeah.
We made it, people. We're big time.
Yes, looks like we
5,
made
6,
it.
7, 8.
Yeah, huge jack off. So here we are driving, and I'm listening to your conversation. And I said to myself, you know how Betty White, bless her heart, was so into animal care and rescuing. And she was such an angel. No, she really was. And
Yeah.
on her 100th birthday, they said, look, do something good for a shelter. So today I felt like Betty White because I cannot wait for the two of you to be spayed and neutered. I think if you two ever procreate, I will absolutely kill myself. So I am Betty White. I'm light to the world and want you both to get your sacks cut off. By the way, speaking of sacks being cut off, did you see that phenomenal movie Power of the Dog yet?
I have not.
Oh my God, it's gorgeous. It's the best movie. They literally
I'll have to
show
watch
the Benedict Cumberbatch's character castrating a bull. And they literally show it. Like, they show everything. I mean, obviously, they're not doing it. It's a stunt bull sack, I suppose. But boy, oh boy, does that look uncomfortable.
Yeah.
They slice it open. They take out those 2 tennis ball sized nuts. And then they fucking sew them up.
Yeah.
This is what should happen to the 2 of you.
Nah, we do plenty of good work for the women of the tri-state area.
That's right. And they need us.
They don't need you to impregnate them.
They do.
Who said
No, they
impregnate?
don't. Well,
Who said anything about
Wait
impregnate?
a minute. Here's what you're missing. I just don't want you to procreate. You can still have
That's
sex.
fine.
Yeah.
Who's trying to procreate?
I don't know. I think
Dude, what part of this
I
do you
don't
think that like
know.
we're trying to have
I think
kids?
you do want to have kids.
Not now.
Well, you're what, 2,300 years old? How old are you?
First of all, you
28?
need. I'm 33.
Okay.
Yeah, it's getting about that time,
It's getting
buddy.
about that time.
It's all right.
Bo,
I
don't
froze
think-
my eggs.
Bo, I don't think you need children at any time.
You don't think so?
I don't think you need them at all.
Yeah, you look pregnant though. That's cool.
See, that's the
Sorry.
only fat joke today.
One. We
'Cause
get one.
started
That was
off
my fault.
2022.
That was my
Where
fault.
it's no fat jokes about Bo.
Well,
Did I
you
break
do
that
most of
already?
them. No, it was me today. Usually it's you.
All right. Well,
No, I
listen,
want kids.
Yeah?
You know? Yeah.
No one wants to spread her leaves for
It
you.
hasn't come up yet. Yeah.
Stop wearing corduroys, dude. You heat them up. You burn all your sperm up.
Is that true? The corduroys?
No, I just wanted to scare you.
Just like watch the movie and watch them pull out that bull's nuts. It's awesome.
I mean, I love a good set of nuts.
Okay, that is going to be something that Mikey, our video guy, is going to pull out, and it's going to be all about you liking nuts.
Mikey, you
Oh
know
my
what's up,
God.
dude. You know what to do, bro.
All right, we need a break.
We need a break from each other already.
Yes.
Guys, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back, and it's going to be the 2 ladies in red talking about our topic today, which is surrender.
Yes.
Surrender!
No, it's my song.
That's true.
That's fine.
We'll be back.
Bye.
Hello, welcome back to Loser of the Dream podcast. We are losers.
We got some dreams.
We do. I like when you chime in. You should do that
I'm a
more
chimer.
often.
I
I'm
like to
going to
chime.
kick it off, and then you chime in with that smooth voice. You
Hey,
you
baby.
have a voice of like you should be reading like a children's book on like audio book.
I would like to do like
have a very
R&B radio. Like, hey,
No,
going on
no,
out
just
there?
your normal voice. You
hey,
ruined
everybody
it.
out there.
Dude,
Well,
you sound like an
listen to
idiot
smooth-
right now.
smooth
Hey,
jazz.
everybody out there. This is Kermit the Frog. He's from the South. So anyway, we're going to get into our topic today.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, our topic is surrender.
Surrender.
Okay, now, how did we get there, you ask?
I had issues.
Have.
I am working on my
Okay.
issues.
So explain to the people how we got here, because Bo came into the diner fresh out of a top secret meeting and was like, we're doing surrender.
Surrender.
And it was one of the hottest things I've ever seen you do.
Yeah,
you
dude,
had an idea, you
Yeah.
queued it up, and you sold it. And Lisa was like, I'm in.
You like it when I take control. And that's
Because
what I
it
like
never
about you.
happens.
So I was in Boston doing shows a few weeks ago,
Yep.
and
For the Celtics, right? It was a private event.
yeah, I was wearing a wedding dress and I had to perform for the Celtics. No,
Dennis Rodman.
yeah. No, I was doing shows, and the first night of shows were great, and then that night I was sleeping, and
As we
I was
do.
having a dream, and I have these things, we call them drug dreams, we call them drunk dreams, right? Basically, I had a dream that I was doing cocaine for basically, I mean, it felt like the whole night. It felt like a long time that I was just doing like piles of coke, and
Nice.
it was really rough. And I like, you know, in the dream, like, you know, all the bad stuff happens. Like you find out you get a DUI, you're losing your job, you're slowly, you know, it's just, you have every
Oh.
experience.
Okay.
So then I woke up in the morning, dude, my jaw hurt
From grinding.
from grinding. So I was like, I was all screwed up. I wake up, I'm like, oh my God, I'm a mess. I'm a complete mess. I am physically not feeling good because my jaw's all fucked up. I didn't get good sleep. I am mentally all fucked up because I'm like, did I relapse? Where am I at? What's going on? and then I'm emotionally all fucked up because I'm anxious. I'm like, what's going on? How you know what I mean? So I'm in the terror dome of life. You know what I mean?
The terror dome of fear. Yeah.
Because I gotta go meet up with my buddy now. It's gonna be like 2-3 o'clock, and I gotta go do shows for the rest of the night. And I am in that just panic of like, what do I do? I'm not feeling good. I'm in a city that that I'm not normally in. I gotta, you know what I mean? Like I'm just having all these experiences, and so what do? I'm in Boston. Go to Dunkin'. First move, get myself some food, get some calories in.
Yep.
Right. Then I sit in the car and I do meditation. Right. I sit there. I just meditate, and I had to do like probably 3 to 4 meditations before I like really started to calm down. And then I wasn't even calmed down to then. So then I drove and I found a Catholic church, which it's Boston. You can find one like there's every.
They have those
Yeah,
there?
it's like every street. Like I typed in Catholic church and it was like
They're like, there's fucking 47 around you, you moron.
Yeah. So I went. I found a church. I go in. Like it was funny though. As I was walking in the church, I saw a couple guys walking by the church that were like my age. And they saw me like walking into the church. They're like, "What the fuck is that guy doing?" And in my head, I was like, "Yeah, I'm a weird guy." You know what I mean? Like I got some issues.
What do you got, a fucking church, pal?
Yeah. So I walk into church. I sit there. I fucking continue to meditate. I'm reading some literature. I'm just getting to my like safe place. I had to just full set surrender. Right?
Yep.
Like you just got to give up. You got to be like, "Hey, everything is reading wrong right now. Nothing about my mental state, my emotional state, my physical state is working.
Right.
And I got to shut it all down, and I got to just go, hey, you know what? Wherever I'm at, I just got to let go."
Yep.
Right? And what happened, of course, after a few hours of working on this and doing some stuff, I start to feel great. I start to feel
Good.
so much better. I'm like, okay, great. And then now I'm having... I'm having lunch with my buddy who I had lunch with that day drank about 45 beers in 5 hours because he's having a nice day. So, but I went into that with the right, like if I had just gone in like full head of steam, a mess, and I didn't surrender and I didn't restart my day, who knows what happens for the rest of that day?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so it's so important. For me, I know especially, I don't know if this is that important for other people. I hope it is. But for me, I have to like surrender constantly. And part of it is like alcoholism and drug addiction and all that. And I am just a sick dude. But the other part of it is just like I get caught in my own shit. I get caught in just an emotional upheaval or whatever. And I have to just let go. You just have to let go.
Yeah.
So,
dude, yeah. I'm with you, pal.
Yeah.
That was a great story, by the way. Well
where I'm
told. Before I get into like my deal with surrender, question. When you walk into a church, does like a priest come approach you and like try to talk to you?
No.
Or no? They just leave you be.
No, they hang out. If you're there for a while, they'll come by.
Okay. So it's
For
like
the
you're in
most
a
part,
clothing
no.
store. It's like, can you help with anything?
No,
You're like, I'm just looking around.
No.
Anything like that?
No,
Okay.
no.
I didn't know how it worked.
They're doing their own shit. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, dude, I understand. Dude, it's amazing how, again, with this podcast, we talk about something and then it just like manifests itself within that week.
Yeah.
So for me, I know having to surrender, we talked earlier about, I was talking to Lisa. For me, it was about like comedy and work and constant worrying about nothing. And I always felt like I was rushing. I feel like when I wake up and then I start work, I'm immediately like going, what's the next thing? What do I have to do after this? I'm in a rush to do absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Today, read my book on worrying. It's literally what it's about.
Yeah.
And it's like just how to get rid of it and how to stop.
Right.
And I was just like, I don't know. Like I had a few clients this morning and I go, then I have downtime.
Yeah.
Where am I? I used to try to just power through days and get as much stuff done so I could just be done with the day.
Right.
And like I needed to just chill and kind of take my time. And for me, I know like with comedy, I was talking to Lisa, I was talking about like, I have to do like our shows at the spot we had in Connecticut haven't been happening.
Yeah.
Right? So now I'm in this spot where I'm trying to find spots and doing open mics. And, if you've done open mics before, they're not always the most fulfilling.
Right.
I was used to that high of an audience, and you hit and you try something, you do it. Open mics are not that. And Lisa said to me something, and she's like, and it sounds so counterintuitive because we're doing stand-up comedy, and she's like, you can't go in and worry about the laughs.
Yeah.
Just go up there.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Right.
Be you. Don't worry about the laughs.
Yeah.
And purposely, I remember she made me, did open mic Wednesday, she made me start with something purposely that I never open with that gets people a little, a little dead mom joke to kick it off.
Right.
So, to just, like you said, man, just full surrender, trying not to fight it. Because when you fight it, it's almost like you're causing more internal stress to yourself.
Right.
It's nuts.
Yeah, it is crazy. I mean, you really, I was thinking about drugs again today, and I was thinking about, I take like too much acid sometimes, and like
you did take too much acid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's like, I take too much acid, like present tense.
Oh no. Oh no, not now.
You just said you're like, I take so much acid sometimes.
No. Like when I was growing up, I take too much, and there's this thing with that drug where it's so intense and it'll hit you in waves that you just can't even see coming, and you're like, all right, man, I just gotta let go.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I may die tonight. I used to have those experiences all the time, doing blow or doing whatever, where it's like, I might die tonight, but I just gotta be okay with going.
Doing drugs, acid, coke, all that shit. You literally there's moments where you're like, I'm gonna die.
Yeah. Well, I had an experience where it was the only time I did an opiate, but I had an experience where I fell out on, a drug that's not great. So
it's a big problem. I don't know if you've been watching the news, anybody in this country.
But and I remember seeing like just everything close down, and just being like, oh yeah, this could be it, the thing about that moment is that you accept it. And that's something that's interesting about death and that kind of stuff is like, you really do surrender. Your body, your mind, it surrenders. It just goes, oh, all right. You know? So, and you find a little bit of peace. And they say that like on, airplanes and stuff, like as planes are going down, people find peace. Like it happens. Like you can spiritually surrender in those moments. It's
like all the worldly worries are just,
you just let go. You just go, I guess this is it, man. And really, that's not a bad way to be all the time. If you can try and really surrender yourself to expectations, right? Like, am I going to get a laugh? Is this date going to go well? Am I going to lose weight at some point? Can I do it? You know what I mean? Is my career going to, like, we live in a world of questions and like trying to get stuff and trying to get better. And it's like, dude, just do what you do.
Yeah.
Enjoy what you do. And just let go.
Yeah.
And that's it.
You could worry yourself right into horrible health too.
Yeah.
You could literally make yourself sick.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm already prone to a heart attack. I don't need to be adding extra worry. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I have tummy issues, so I have to be careful.
No, but seriously, I mean,
a lot of it
fucks you up.
A lot of it is, man. Like there's I've had so many, things that I've worried. It's funny, like I will have like I have just gut issues I've always had. They've kind of gotten worse as I've gotten older.
Yeah.
And I did like a test to see where my gut bacteria was at and all this shit. I was like, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
There has to be something wrong. And then I get the test back and they're like, no, everything's.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm just a crazy person. Like I don't mean crazy person, but I'm just like in my head about shit.
Right.
And like the fact that I get up and immediately just start like rushing to do nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. If I had, I have work and shit, but I was talking with this about my therapist today. She was like, you have the luxury, and you and I both have this luxury. Single men.
Yeah.
No wives. Well, okay.
Well,
no wives, nothing, no kids.
Yeah.
So it's just like, we're in our heads all day.
Right.
We're already like that regardless.
Yeah, we're living the dream.
We're already like that.
We are the dream. That's the thing. It's like losers with a dream. We
are the dream.
We have the dream.
Right now. Dude.
I'm getting McDonald's after this. No.
I thought we were going 2 boots. Anyways.
Yeah.
Either one's fine.
With both. No,
So that weight loss thing's not gonna happen.
no. But I was looking up surrender, and because I was trying to get some extra stuff to think about or talk about today, and a lot of it comes back to like Buddhist type shit, where it's like surrender all of the material world and just let go of who you think you are and all that. And I think that there's value to that shit.
There is.
There is. It gets a little crazy.
Yeah. I'm not trying to.
I know you still need the gold pinky rings.
Yeah, baby. Dude, can I tell you real quick?
Yeah.
A Lexus dealership in Westport, I drove by, and I'm not kidding. I drove by, and it is the exact car and color that I've spoken about on this.
Yeah.
All black rims,
dude.
Red leather interior.
See, but that's
and
your
I
problem,
looked,
Nick.
and I looked and just went out loud in my car alone, just went, fucking Jesus
See,
Christ.
but that's your issue. See, if you surrender yourself fully, then you won't be focused about these black cars, black rims, black ladies. Okay? No, she wrapped it up.
Oh, dude.
No.
I told you, dude. This fucking guy keeps trying to be edgy. He's blowing it for us.
No. I'm just saying, you gotta let go of the physical realm, dude.
Yeah. Real quick, last story. I'll tell you this. Last Friday I did open mics with our good friend Chris Warren, went into the city.
Yeah.
And we signed up the first mic we did. I was like, kind of like, I drove down and everything. I was like, kind of like huffing and puffing the whole way. I was like, it's so cold.
Yeah, it was a bad
and
week.
it's horrible, but still, I was like,
yeah.
We get there. It's a pure. If those know open mics, you get like 4 or 5 minutes. You go up, you try your new shit. This
hellhole
was strictly It's usually just like you and 10 other comics in a room who are like, fuck this guy. This was a heckler / crowd work mic.
Yeah.
So you literally got up there, held the microphone, and you just go, all right.
You bald piece of shit.
Yeah, and they literally did at one point, someone just yelled out, what are you? They didn't know what nationality I was. They thought I was like an ISIS, and I was like, I'm Italian. Blah, blah,
you do have a little bit of a Middle Eastern vibe.
I guess. Since I've shaved my head. I mean, dude, look at this poster.
Yeah,
I am Pakistani in this fucking poster, dude.
Dude,
I'm Pakistani.
That.
You're a fucking softball coach at Division III women's college.
Yeah, I'm trying to win a championship. No,
Lisa's the only one that actually looks like her.
Yeah,
like,
dude, you do look full on Pakistani.
Have you ever seen this thing? It's horrible.
Oh my god.
No, it's great. It's great. He did a great job. Anyways, we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah,
and we're gonna come back with that lady in the middle, the head clam in charge.
HCIC.
Lisa Lampanelli. Be right back.
Me.
Hello, welcome back to Loser the Dream podcast. We are losers. And man, if you hear that snapping off camera, she's back. Lisa Lampanelli, the head clam in charge.
Oh my God, I was very impressed.
Wow.
Usually you guys blather on
dope.
about things and I could care less.
Yeah.
I find things to pick on and laugh at. But you know what? I honestly feel like this is a very complicated subject.
It is.
And we're getting to what is at the core of it.
Yeah.
Because when you came into the diner and you honestly told that story about that weird dream, like that's crazy ass shit. And you go, we got to talk about surrender. As you know, like Nick said, I never listened to you. I said, no, we're not. We're going to talk about whatever.
Yeah.
This time I was like, oh, this shit is important. I was like, okay, so I looked up really what the difference between acceptance and surrender is. Okay, so it's really accepting almost has the tone of, even though it's not, giving up. And that's why when you said before giving up, I was like, no. Surrender is literally not giving up.
Yeah.
It's basically, and because you brought up Buddhism, I am going to tell you a Buddhist proverb real quick. And no, you're going to really identify
I'm sure
with
I
this.
love it.
Okay, what happens is this Buddhist monk is walking through a forest carrying a thing of heavy sticks.
Yeah.
It gets too heavy and he throws them to the ground.
Yeah.
What does he do next? He gets immediately enlightened, picks up the sticks again and keeps going. So surrender is going, I surrender that right now, this is too much for me. I'm putting the burden down, but then it's picking it up. So that's the difference between giving up and surrender, because giving up is not peaceful. It's suffering.
Right.
It's going, no, I'm not going to take any more action. I'm done. So if he had never picked them up again, Like somebody who just quit stand-up. If they're like, no, it's too hard. Well, they can quit. That's fine.
Yeah.
But that's not surrender. Surrender is going, okay, I'm going to take a couple days off. It's driving me insane. What can I book for next Saturday? You know? So I think the suffering would continue for the person who never tried it again. Because the rest of their life, they'd be like, oh, if I just hadn't given up, I could have gotten somewhere. Yeah. So what I like is that giving up requires no action. And this surrender you talked about leads to a ton of action.
Yeah.
So you just have to realize what the next right thing to do is and go for it after that. So what you did with the going to the meeting and going to this and going in the church, it was all putting down the burden, but then picking it up and then the next hour doing the right thing for yourself. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I didn't get in the car and drive home.
Right.
You know, like I still met my like obligations. You know, I think it's like, this is a question I have for you. Do you feel like surrender there needs to be a faith component to it?
It's almost like it does. It almost has to just, not even faith in God,
right?
Faith in whatever the oneness of the universe is,
right?
In something that's bigger than yourself,
right?
So if I'm going to, so for instance, I'm in the hot tub in my palatial estate. And
I love that word.
That
was awesome.
I know. Thank you. The compound, as it were.
Yes.
And honestly, I was like, I always drive myself crazy with like, oh, I wonder how I'm going to fill my time. Right. Oh, now that I'm really retired, what am I going to do? And honestly, I just breathed. And then this voice came over me that was like, you've always figured it out before without trying.
Right.
You've always just stayed open. I think you have to have the feeling that you're a part of something bigger in order to truly surrender. Because it's letting go of the ego. Because my ego could be just like, oh, I have to still accomplish things and I have to run here and help this person and do this and do that. And it's like, oh, okay, I surrender this. I wrote a whole list last week of things I'm retiring from. I woke up and I go, I have to write down this retirement from all these beliefs I have, all this fucking bullshit action I take that's really inaction and worry. And it's like the first thing started with, I am retiring from thinking I have to be the same size I was in high school.
Yes.
It's literally almost insane to be 60 and want to be the same size you were in high school.
Doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah.
Right. And it's like, why do I have that? So I surrendered to my body type now, which isn't much bigger at all than I was in high school, but I was beating myself up for it.
Yeah.
And do you know, just over that full week, I was like, oh my God, I just noticed I'm eating so much less. Yeah. Because I'm not holding on and holding on. I'm going, I surrendered to the idea of whatever I'm supposed to look like, I look like. Women who can't surrender to aging and get all that surgery, you almost have to feel so sorry for them because you got to surrender to where your face falls.
Yeah.
I always think if people get a ton of plastic surgery, that some higher power is going to punish them and they're going to get in a car accident and that shit's going to explode.
Right.
And there's nothing worse than seeing all that fucking Botox all over a windshield. That'll wake you the fuck up. Yeah. So it's almost going with that, whether your higher power is just the universe or an actual God that you think of, it doesn't matter. I think it has something to do with that.
It needs to be there, I think. I mean, I know for me, when I'm surrendering, it is to God, to a higher power, right? Like that's what I'm focused on. Because I have to fall back into something. You know what I mean? I have to, if you're surrendering, it's like I need to accept that I can't do it, so something else is.
Right. Something else is at work.
Yeah,
like it's physics. The universe is doing what it's doing. Right. And you better accept what the fuck is.
And you ain't shit, son.
You ain't shit. You want a black woman? That's what I'm going to fucking tell you. Okay? No, but it's like I don't think it's saying someone else has all the power, so I'm just going to sit here and do some bullshit manifesting. No. It's saying I'm going to do the work, but I can't force it. Right. I can't force the world to work for me how I want, because who knows how I'm supposed to really be? Who knows what lessons I'm supposed to learn? So it's basically going, I accept the situation as it is.
Yeah.
Take action, and that's empowering. And then you got to surrender to the results.
I think really it's just surrendering to reality.
Yeah.
Right? It's like surrendering to like this is black and white. This is the way my life is. Mm-hmm. here's how I expect it to be, and here's how like I've been chasing it to be and hoping it'll be and all that shit.
Right.
And then it's like, or even fearing that it could be, right? But it's like, this is a reality. I'm just going to surrender to the now, to the moment.
That's right.
Like, that's where I'm at. And
Right.
dude, the freedom.
Oh my God,
that comes
it's
from
so,
that.
it's literally the end of suffering.
It's amazing.
Because what I could do at 60 years old and go, if I don't try to manipulate the world, because I can't anyway.
Yeah.
So what am I trying for? Like, I literally like, duh, like it's not going to work anyway.
Yeah.
Whatever's supposed to happen will.
But you have also had an experience for many years of self-will and intense hard work turning into gold.
Well, yeah, but that's because of my natural ability and innate lovability. We have to remember that is something you do not possess.
No.
So what you do is you accept your situation as the unlikable chubby thing you are, and then you go, but I'm going to try anyway and give it up. Chances are, will you get famous? Probably not.
Right.
And that's okay, because if you surrender, you go, what was supposed to happen happened.
Yeah, and I think what's supposed to happen is like it's just
just
and it's
does.
exactly what I need. It's not even like
Yes!
what's supposed to happen is going to happen. What's supposed to happen is going to happen, and it's going to be the best thing I could
I
imagine.
know. It's in your
You know what I
highest
mean?
good. Like, you will
Yeah.
be sitting there at 60 years old going, wow, thank God I was a colossal failure in comedy.
Yeah.
Because the podcast now has 80 billion downloads.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm enormously rich. I have a hot wife.
I could pay for
You
a
know,
dialysis.
Yes.
I don't understand
And
why
I
it's so,
can
like-
I can have children. I have the kids. Like, who would ever question that isn't the right path?
Yeah.
But even if you had nothing, you would have the contentment and the lack of suffering and the joy that comes from not trying to manipulate the world. It doesn't work. And people think that means, oh, I guess I won't try. No, you fucking dummy. If you're out there and listening to this, I've said 50 times, take the action necessary,
Right.
and then you surrender to the results.
Yes.
Right.
We
Yes.
could get killed in a car accident on the way home. You just have to, but you're not. It doesn't mean you're not going to touch the wheel of the car.
Right,
You're
right.
going to drive correctly.
We'd
I'm
hope.
the
10 and
fucking
2, please.
best driver ever, as you know.
Yeah.
In my own, I have 2 talents.
Lisa's,
That's
on
one
her,
of
Lisa's
them.
on her phone the whole time.
Oh,
Just
100%.
texting.
No. And so there you are. You go, okay, hey, even if I try to manipulate the road, I'm not going to fucking be able to avoid that accident if that's what's going to happen.
Right.
But it's not then saying, okay, let me close my eyes while I drive.
Yeah.
That's
try it.
just suffering.
Right. Yeah.
Why wouldn't we just choose to not suffer? That's what cracks me up. We have to really, from this moment on, I've been really good about it the last few weeks, just going, I'm just going to have fun, do what's right, don't hurt anybody else, and surrender to what results will happen in the future.
Dude, I'm so in that mode right now,
Yeah.
and it feels so good.
Yep.
Yep.
And it reminds me of like why, like, you know what I mean? Like just why life is awesome. Like it gets me back
Yeah.
to that moment where you're just like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, anything can happen. It's gonna be fun as hell. The whole thing's fun.
Right.
And everything that needs to happen is gonna happen, and it's gonna be sick.
Well, you know what it is? Because
Like-
you're aligned with your higher self.
Yes.
And the problem is we have been aligning ourselves with our lower self, which is
Right.
that fucking ego.
Yeah.
Which is that, oh, I gotta get famous and let me prove myself and show those kids in high school that
Mommy!
show
Mommy,
mom and
love me,
yeah.
mommy.
And that's all ego. It's
Yeah.
nothing. It's no higher good. Oh,
Yeah.
it's just terrible.
Yeah.
So I
I
mean,
need a lady.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I
right
think
here.
if we just kind of keep that in mind and bring it back to that,
Yeah.
and by the way, I don't think you forget that feeling. We'll lose
No.
it for a minute, but then we got to bring it back.
Well, once I got it back, and you know what? It's like I don't want to have these really intense drug dreams or like these problems, but like, dude, what a blessing,
Yeah, right.
right? Like
Right.
you know, it's like it's amazing that when you surrender, you go, oh, that was awesome.
Yep.
Like within 10 minutes, you're going like, dude,
Yeah.
I'm so glad that happened. And 10 minutes before, you were going like, why would this happen to me? Like it's just
That's right.
it's an amazing, like you accept pain and fear and whatever with like, oh my God, this is all good. Like
Right.
we have such a version. We should do a podcast about this, but we have such a we categorize pain wrong. We're always like, oh, pain is the problem. Pain is the problem. It's like,
Nope.
pain is there for a reason,
It's a
right?
signal.
It's a signal, and it lets us know how to live better.
right.
Right, so pain is the best thing you can.
Well, like
feel.
the Buddha said, I see how I am today. pain is inevitable, suffering's optional.
Right.
So, by the way, yeah, you're right. Pain indicates, like, if you didn't have a pain in your ankle before it broke, like, you wouldn't know to fucking work on it so it doesn't break or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's just insane that, I mean, yeah, it sucks. It's not fun, but, you know, then at least it doesn't get worse.
But don't you think if you can live a life where you're just not afraid of pain?
Yeah, but I'm kind of a pussy. Like, I'm going to Vermont in a couple weeks, and I'm afraid to ice skate because I'm like, oh my God, what if I break my ankle? And then my friend's like, well, maybe you should try skiing. And I'm like, I'm 60 and never skied. And she goes like, don't worry, you go on the bunny slope, and they teach you French fries and pizza, which is like forward motion and stopping. And I'm like, okay, I could do that much. But
definitely physical
pain is really hard. Well, I had a lot of emotional pain in the last couple of weeks because I had a death in the family.
Yeah.
But want to know one of the best things to come out of it? I looked through all these photos. I said, this is a signal to organize all these black and white pictures of my parents and my aunts and uncles and stuff. Oh my God. They couldn't afford much because, you know, we grew up, you know, relatively, you know, lower middle class.
Yeah.
They went on trips. Sometimes they looked so happy. It was the cutest thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, they did like every 5 years, like a cruise or a little thing, like a trip to Bermuda or something like that. And I'm like, oh, so the pain of my aunt passing, because she was like one of my favorite people ever, led me to look at those things and go, oh my God, they had so much joy.
Right.
In just these, because you cannot fake smiles in pictures if you're not happy. Like, you can tell when somebody's faking it.
You look at one and they're like,
Yeah, like, and she had some unadulterated joy on her face, as did my mom. So it really woke me up to that my mom had a pretty good life too.
Right.
So I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, take a fucking trip, go on a cruise, do whatever. And I booked a cruise and I booked a trip to Vegas, and they're all so silly and fun.
Yeah.
And you go, plus this torturous Vermont ski exhibition that I'm going to come back with practically dead.
It's true. You are really vacationing it up here.
I am. But I'm like, you know what?
But it's good. Get the hell out of here. It's cold.
Everything's cheap.
We don't need any help.
Everything's fun. You guys take over. I'll zoom in. But it's really interesting how we just go, wow, just surrendering to what I need to do now to learn stuff. I need to learn what it's like to not do all the time.
Yeah.
And to just be, and to go on a vacation and not have the internet, and to just see what that's like.
Yeah.
Could it be a little painful at first because you're like, oh my God, how am I going to tell if anybody's getting in touch with me?
Right.
Well, I guess you'll learn something.
Yeah. Well, and it's the act of sitting with yourself and seeing what comes up, always positive. I mean, that's where I usually have to go, right? With the meditation, because it's just like, and that's what Nick was talking about when he was talking about, like, you know, going to work and then it's the next thing, it's the next thing, it's the next thing. Especially with the phone, if you're just like, you can just be like, oh, okay, all right, here we go. You're just responding.
It's too much, dude. Even if I put my phone on like a weekend, if I leave my phone in the other room for 2 hours, it's the best.
I can't even charge it.
Wow.
Like, it really, I'm like, man, I feel really like relaxed.
Dude, I
and then you're like,
can't
oh,
even
I haven't
charge it.
touched my phone in 2 hours.
Well, see, this is
Like,
a
it
lot.
really-
That's a big deal.
I noticed that so much, and I'm like so attached to this stupid thing.
insane.
And because I'm nuts and I like things organized, I clear notifications as
I know
they come
you're
in all
hardcore.
He
You're
does.
hardcore.
I have real problems.
But what I do like is that you do respond really quickly because you're so businesslike. So
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
But you know, I was doing a show with the Minimalists and in Boston a few weeks ago, and some guy got up and he was really sad because his sister, he said she's like 18 and she's literally on her phone 24/7.
Yeah.
His heart breaks for her because he's older and he knows it can lead to no good. And they said, unfortunately, nothing is more compelling in her life right now.
Right.
The phone's the most compelling thing right now. So that's the sad part, is we have
Such a
to
good point.
separate ourselves from those things that make us not even experience what is compelling in the world.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's so true. If I go on like a vacation with a bunch of friends and we like, you know, we get an Airbnb or something, I don't look at my phone.
I know.
I don't look at my phone until like the end of the day. And I'm like, oh, shit,
the
this happened, whatever.
best.
Am I
you're
always,
just-
is there always 10 texts from me going, where the fuck are you, you fat pig?
It's
You
Lisa
know?
like, post the podcast.
Yeah, post something.
Post it in the story, you fucking waste of space.
I know.
Yeah.
But no, it is really true that, like, we just have to put it down. Not just the phone, but the burden sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a lot of burden And that burden's always about suffering. But then when we're not in pain, we pick it back up and we move on.
Yeah. Yep. And a lot of this stuff is just not ours to carry because it doesn't exist.
Well, do you think too, like when it comes to dating,
Yeah.
don't you think an idea of surrender is really good with that too?
Yeah.
Because part of me is like, okay, I remember in the old days, we didn't have the intranet and you had to meet people in person.
Yeah.
So do you think, I mean, I get that people have met on apps. I think it's great. But do you think it's just busy work until the right thing comes along?
I spent the whole day, well, not the whole day. I spent a few hours talking about this today because I've been surrendering, right? So I'm like, well, I got to surrender in this area too. Can't leave this one out.
Right.
And then, but it's difficult, right? Because to delete the apps, or it's like, am I giving up on that possibility?
So let's wait. That's a good idea.
you know what I mean?
Wait. So let's go through this then. Giving up versus surrender. So giving up implies a lack of action. It's a resistance to what is.
Yeah.
It's saying no to life.
Right.
It's fueling your suffering and it moves you away from God or your higher power.
Yeah.
So taking a step back from apps is not doing any of those things.
Right.
It's not a lack of action. It's an actual action towards the good. It's not resisting what is. It's saying, hey, right now, this isn't something that's good for me.
Right.
It's saying yes to more life and no to more screen time.
Yeah.
And it's not fueling your suffering. So it just seems like if you opt out of the apps at the moment for an exercise and seeing what it's like, it's more surrender than giving up.
Right.
So it's not saying I'm not taking action. It is taking action in that positive direction.
However, if I were to say I'm not going to go on a date,
then that's probably
Right.
well, if it's fueled out of fear, it's probably
well, I guess
giving
every
up.
case is probably different, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I think, this is kind of where I've been at with this, where I'm like, all right, I need to stop trying to create outcomes
There
and
you
just
go.
start trying to just live and have fun
Amen.
and experience.
Well, because you see in movies and in good TV shows, like when people meet and stuff, like I literally burst into tears the other day because I am so closed off to love.
Yeah.
I mean, from guys, not from family and friends and stuff.
Right.
But on This Is Us.
The wet kind.
Ew.
Sorry.
This Is Us.
What the
I know.
fuck,
Even me and Nick are like gross. You know we're gonna fucking make that one even dirtier than okay. Yeah. Well, wet at age 60 ain't happening. Okay. So I'm watching This Is Us, and Uncle Nicky, who had previously been very closed off to love because he's an addict, he's in recovery, and he was obsessed with a girl from his past.
Right.
He meets this woman on an airplane and he is just giving her a hard time. It's really cute. It's like literally how like you would imagine we would be as comics. Cause she's like, sir, could you please put up your seat? And he's like, I don't know, like you gonna make me or whatever. And she's like, good thing I brought my duct tape. She's a black woman. She was cool as fuck. And they fast forward and like they're together and as a couple. And I'm like, I burst into tears. I'm like, wow, he shed that past bullshit and went with the action. So that's what I think this saying yes to, he surrendered to that moment.
Yeah.
So I think that's like where I could see like, oh my God, it gives you hope and it gives you this thing of like, oh, maybe like at 70, I'll be like, oh, I'm going to surrender to this moment. So maybe if you guys aren't on apps and just meeting people in real life, you're going to say, hey, you want to have coffee?
Right.
I mean, I don't even know what that looks like anymore. Does
is
anyone
better.
meet that
It
way
is.
anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it's
I've done
always
that,
better. It's always better that way.
Yeah.
Apps and shit, it's fine. And there's people I know that got married off the apps. Like they
Yeah.
met the
Yeah.
person they're gonna be. It's great, but like always like meeting through friends or like it's always better that way.
It is.
So
Yeah.
basically, though, it's just even if you're on apps, it's almost surrendering to the process that is.
Well, I think surrendering to your ideal.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever you kind of construct your ideal to be, right? And sticking to it. So there is a little boundary, right? Of like, okay, this is my ideal. I want to meet somebody in person. I want to, you know what I mean? Or I want to meet somebody who, makes me laugh. Some
It's
shit like that.
wild how things are just so different now. But
Back in your day, you had to put an ad in the
In
paper.
my day, you were in your horse-drawn carriage, and your servant was
Wait.
riding you around town.
That's interesting. So guys used to have to put like ads in the paper. With
Oh,
their...
in the Village Voice, there used to
Yeah.
be things called personal ads.
What year is this?
No, in the 80s.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And 90s,
that's
I
what I
guess.
wanted to know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
in the late 90s, internet
They
stuff
stopped,
started,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the Village Voice, there used to be like personal ads. It's like man seeking woman, woman seeking woman, whatever.
Yeah. Would they have like a photo of the guy?
I know you'd have to call a number, and then
They'd
if you
fax you a
started
photo or
talking,
something?
they would send a facsimile on the dictation machine, and the controller would play the record. No, but the weirder thing was, I thought this was fascinating.
Yeah.
There would be a column in The Voice, I think, or in some other paper called Missed Connections, and it would say, I was on the
Yes.
whatever bus, and you were wearing
was
this,
jerking
and I
off on the street.
no, and I think we would be a good match. I always thought that was cool as fuck.
Yeah.
Like
I
that's
know.
romantic.
Well,
I
Our
know a
good-
couple that got married off of one of those.
Well-
it was a client of mine, her daughter, and the daughter married some guy. Apparently, the guy like saved her from getting mugged in New York City. It was, like, out
Oh,
of a
you
movie.
gotta blow that guy.
Dude, he like, and then
That's
they
true.
lost
Nick could blow that
connection.
guy.
Then they lost, like he like and he's like, hey, he, like chased the guy away, and he was like, hey, you okay? And then they lost connection, and then like she put an ad, and they found each other, and they're married. How
Oh
crazy!
my
How wild is that?
I
Like
love
Mr.
that.
Deeds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have
Save you.
I'm not one for blowing, but I will tell you, I would have gobbled that knob on the spot.
Yeah.
I've
Same.
gobbled a knob for way less. Oh my
So
God.
am
So the moral of the story is we need to surrender to
Jazz
the end of the
hands.
episode. Go out on your tricycle, that large tricycle with the big wheel in the front.
Surrender.
And get in your horse-drawn buggy, and you too can find love on the streets of good old New Yorkie.
New York.
We'll be back next week, will we, Nick?
Of course we will.
I know we got nothing else.
Here,
to
put
do.
your hand in here.
I think this
Lisa.
is a good one.
I don't know. Can you get further? Guys, I love us.
Cornhole.
We'll see you next week.
Hey, thanks for listening to Losers with a Dream. We'll see you next week when you got more time to kill. Fucking hate these guys.